Welcome to the Swamp Sisters Cosmic Spotlight Series, where we showcase some of the fabulous artists and performers you will find at the Swamp Sisters Cosmic Conjunction Function at Will's Pub in Orlando, March 13th. Our organization is full of vibrant, talented people. We'd like you to get to know a few of them.
Vocalist Maia and guitarist Dev Michael form the duo Mad Transit. What a great name, right? Their show includes hits from the 1960s all the way through to today's chart toppers, as well as at least one tune by a local songwriter who's near and dear to my heart and a member of the Swamp Sisters community. We'll be sure to talk more about that. Maya also has a YouTube channel with 18,000 followers where she shares her journey through transgender, lesbian, and asexual life. She serves on the board and as communications director for Come Out with Pride Orlando and manages social media for One Orlando Alliance. That's a coalition of over 30 LGBTQ plus organizations who work together to transform Central Florida into a safe and inclusive community where everyone can thrive. Dev has an interesting background too. As a California kid in the late 1970s, his band Hard Times opened for both Styx and Van Halen. Respect. He also wrote a song called Party On that the band performed at San Dimas High School and thusly assumes credit for the phrase as a prominent theme in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Party on, dude. I'm excited for all of us to get to know these artists a little better and hopefully get a song performance from them too. So let's get started. Hi, Maya and Dev. I'm so glad to have you here. I'm so glad to have you here today. I understand that you've been in rehearsal preparing your set for the Cosmic Conjunction function. Is that right?
Yes.
It is very true. Yes. We need practice.
We're very excited to have you on the bill. So, first off, I'm just curious, how did the two of you come to meet and form Mad Transit?
Oh,
Well, how did we meet?
I believe it was at a local pub.
That's right. We met at a local pub. Actually, we met through Lauren Lester, who's a local musician. Lauren had invited me to come out to this open mic that she kind of did on Sundays and said we should do a song. And I came out, I sang a song, and
I was there.
And Dev was there. And
I go, ooh.
Ooh. Yeah, he said ooh, or something like that. But after the night was over, I was sitting with Lauren and Dev came over and sat down and we started talking. And I started talking about how I wanted to learn to play the guitar. And Dev was like, oh, I can help you with that. And I started going over to Dev's and then we started going over music that he knew in his set list. And then that kind of naturally grew into.
Well, Maya started hanging out at the pub every week. And eventually we went to Wawa and spent the night there and solidified our musical desires.
Well, when we say spent the night, we mean we were eating outside. We didn't actually like sleep outside.
It was daylight when I got home. I don't know about you.
Okay.
Here's my next question. Dev.
Oh, that's me.
What? I talked about you in the intro too. And because I've mined some secret information about your past, about being from California, and that your band opened for some Styx and Van Halen.
Yeah.
And that you coined the phrase "party on."
Party on, dude.
That's pretty amazing.
Back then I wrote a song.
Right. Party on, and played at the high school. That's so cool.
We performed that song at San Dimas High School, and one of the guys going to San Dimas High School was the guy that wrote the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and he was impressed by the song and our musicality, and he pretty much based his movie on watching us perform.
Really? That's a long stretch. Okay. I don't know if
I'll go for it.
Of course, but we were.
How do you know
you were there?
Fired him.
How do you know he was impressed by your song? Did he actually tell you that?
Yeah. It was right there.
Did he send you a check?
I think Dev is presupposing a whole lot in there, except he played in San Dimas High School. I think that's basically where truth departs from fiction.
Well, party on. It's a good story. I love it. Maya, You
Yeah.
grew up near New York City
Yeah.
and have been a singer for most of your life.
Yeah.
Did you have formal training?
I have had brief amounts of one-on-one voice training while I've been here in Orlando, but probably the most amount of voice training I had was when I joined chorus in about junior high, and I had a particular teacher. His name was Mr. Fiddler, who took a personal interest in me, and so he would I would go down to his classroom and he would play the piano. We would sing songs, and he would he taught me a lot of the basics of singing. I do have some more formal training, so I can do things like vibrato and also change aspects of my voice, whatever. I think, as a transgender woman, being able to sing in female vocal registers is also something that I've learned to do. But even before my transition, I was a tenor one, so I had, I could actually sing countertenor type music as well, which is also pretty high. So I was blessed with about a 3-octave range, so
Wow.
it has allowed me to stretch, and being able to sing really helped me with developing a voice that people read as female
When you speak.
when I speak, exactly. So, at drive-throughs on the telephone and that kind of thing. But the difference between the voices is resonance and a few other things. But it's kind of crazy, and I love it, and I love being able to do that. But yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. You know what else is impressive is your role as an activist for the LGBTQ plus community.
Right.
How do you find the climate in Central Florida these days? Has there been a noticeable improvement over the past few years? Do you feel good about how things feel in general now?
In a nutshell, no. I mean, in terms of my personal life, in terms of my personal interactions, Central Florida is very gay. It's like the 4th gayest city in the country. And I also now involve myself in organizations like Come Out with Pride. I'm the current communications director of Come Out with Pride. It's the organization that throws Orlando Pride every year in October. So I do a lot of things like that. My personal interactions, I think people have started to learn more about what it means to be transgender, especially the fact that I'm not just transgender, but also lesbian and also asexual. So it's like I'm LGBTQIA. I'm 3 letters in that, So that has gotten better. However, the climate of the state itself has gotten much more hostile. So,
Well,
things like the Don't Say Gay bill that's pushing through the Florida legislature, things like the anti-trans sports bill that was passed last year, and a likely bill this year that will basically ban medical interventions for transgender people under 18. So, that is going to make it very difficult for trans kids to get any kind of medical help, even the impermanent kind. I know some people sometimes get a little squirrely about any kind of quote unquote permanent changes. No kids are getting surgeries, I'll tell you that, before they turn 18. That's not something.
yeah.
But things like hormone blockers and things that put off puberty to allow them to give them time to, decide that this is really for them. Those kinds of things will no longer be legal in the state. So it's going to make it really hard for trans kids. And my fear is that it's going to be extended to trans adults. They're going to incrementally make these changes and just keep pushing the goalpost until they get to the point where they essentially outlaw trans people.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the arts are a more welcoming environment, and especially maybe now that TV and film have sort of given more of a face to the transgender experience?
I mean, I think that's probably been generally true throughout history, that the arts are a more accepting environment. I am, besides a professional singer, I'm also a professional photographer. A lot of my friends are actually transgender. Well, not rather they are lesbian performers around town and stuff like that. And they accept me as an equal. They don't really even usually think about the fact that I'm trans when I'm interacting with them. But yeah, I would say the arts are pretty progressive in that regard. However, acceptance doesn't mean education. They might accept me, but they don't really know a lot about what it means, and what the process is and what it is like to be me. So I still find myself doing a lot of educating, even in these progressive spaces.
Right, right. And I think that's important that you do that. And I'm grateful to you for your voice and for your willingness to share your experience.
Right.
So let's get back around to Mad Transit and the two of you. I'm kind of starting to pick up the vibe of the nature of your collaboration, your partnership.
Yeah. What started was that, Dev showed me a lot of basically the classical kind of stuff you'll see. If you go to any bar, and somebody's there playing a guitar, they're playing like Bad Moon Rising, Wagon Wheel, these sorts of songs that you hear, like just Americana kind of things, that you hear just about anywhere from most artists. However, I think what makes us a little unique is the fact that we've kind of mixed in songs that people don't cover ever. Well, we've done anything from like Hungry Like the Wolf by Duran Duran.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Or recently we actually performed for Girls in Wonderland, which is this lesbian circuit party that happens during gay days in Orlando with like 2,000 women. So I kind of tailored our set list to be songs that are appealing to these sort of millennial lesbian women. So it was songs like Royals by, Lorde. I learned the song by Dua Lipa. What was it called?
I can play it.
Yeah, I know. If you want to run away with me, I know a galaxy and I can take you for a ride.
Levitating.
Thank you so much.
In my head, I went to the chorus. Yeah. Now, as far as the process, what will happen is Maia will hear a song that she'll want to do, and she'll tell me about it, and we'll listen to it, and then I'll sit down and fiddle with it, and after just a little while, just a few minutes, we'll figure out whether or not I can play it.
Yeah.
And if I can play it, we'll learn it.
So speaking of that, I would love it if we could get some music from you. Would you be willing to do a song for us?
Hi, we're Mad Transit. I'm Maia, and this is Dev. And we're
howdy, folks.
Sorry, I forgot to give them the space to say that, but
I always do.
Yes, that's true. And we're about to do a song by a local singer-songwriter who's extremely talented, Lauren Lester, and it's called Glasses of Wine, which pretty much describes my entire love life. So I love this song. I am a lonesome traveler, and I've roamed across these lands, shifting my heart and all my dreams from hand to hand. I've learned to find some comfort right here where I stand. If somebody's begging to give you love, take it while you can, 'cause when it's time to move on, darling, we won't be wasting our time. There's no sense in belonging to you, there's no sense in calling you mine. When it's time to move on, darling, we won't be wasting our time. There's only so many conversations, so many sunsets, so many glasses of wine. Glasses of wine. Oh, if you had told me 5 years ago that I'd be right here, I would have called you crazy. I would have said not in a million years. Oh, but now that I'm sitting here, I realize it's true, and I'm swallowing all my pride, wishing the very best to you. 'Cause when it's time to move on, darling, we won't be wasting our time. There's no sense in belonging to you, there's no sense in calling you mine. When it's time to move on, darling. We won't be wasting our time. There's only so many conversations, so many sunsets, so many glasses of wine. Oh, don't go saying that dirty word forever. Nothing ever stays the same, just as the seasons, you know it. Something is always changing you. Remember that night over the kitchen table, we said we'd never leave. We would go to bat for each other. We were on the same team, but somehow, ooh, I lost my heart and then I lost my feet. And that's when I lost you, and darling, you lost me. 'Cause when it's time to move on, darling, we won't be wasting our time. There's no sense in belonging to you. There's no sense in calling you mine. When it's time to move on, darling, we won't be wasting our time. There's only so many conversations, so many sunsets, so many glasses of wine. Glasses of wine, darling, glasses of wine.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us here today, or with me. I'm excited, very excited to hear your set at the Cosmic Conjunction function,
We are looking forward to it.
and honored that you have agreed to be a part of that as well. I will let you go back to your preparations and build out your set list and, decide on wardrobe and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, wardrobe.
We're not gonna wear
You look, that was a joke. I don't deal with that either. So,
I know.
yeah.
I'll probably wear
You're very well coordinated today. I'm just saying,
Oh,
y'all look really
my
all
face
American.
is about the same color as your shirt.
Yeah.
Before we go, I do want to say one thing. Yes,
Yeah.
Deb actually is Santa Claus, but we can't tell anybody.
He's a blonde Santa Claus. Blonde
Yeah.
Santa.
This is what Santa does during the off season. He comes to Florida and plays with the band.
Ho ho ho!
You guys are great. I can't wait to see you on the 13th. Thanks again.
Always so much
And-
fun to talk with you. Take care. We'll see you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Okay.